Day 187 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration. I am not a self-help guru. I'm just trying to help myself. I want to let you know that I am feeling vulnerable today on day 187 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration. I am feeling vulnerable because, as I mentioned yesterday, I am trying to feel vulnerable. Chat GPT congratulated me when I told it that my therapist, after listening to the Josh Bloom podcast, said that he felt that I was 90% of the way to full vulnerability. He didn't actually put it quite like that, but I am putting it quite like that for entertainment value. Chat GPT told me, quote, if your therapist feels you're 90% there, it means you're already practicing vulnerability in big ways. That reminds me of the album Songs from the Big Chair by Tears for Fears, a band named for a state of vulnerability. Have you listened to the song Head Over Heels recently? It's fantastic. Chat GPT went on to add, quote, that's a beautiful and brave goal. Thanks, Chat GPT. But really, part of being vulnerable is lowering my guard and not making light of the fact that I am trying to be more vulnerable. I don't want to end up like the leader of the Trump administration. Some may take an easy opportunity to land a cheap insult in the comments by saying, oh, well, you never will. You will never be rich. You will never be powerful. You will never be famous. They will say this thinking I am interested in being rich, powerful, and famous. I'm not. When I say I don't want to end up like a leader of the Trump administration, I mean I don't want to be isolated, hated, and revered only by people who were either manipulated by me or afraid of me. There was a time in my life when I was actually quite close to being exactly that. I will admit that part of why I am so repulsed by the leader of the Trump administration is because I recognize those behaviors in him, and I can see how I used to be in the way he treats people. The reason I changed and became the 90% vulnerable person that Chat GPT congratulates today is because I was unhappy, angry, and frustrated with life. Not because I lacked money, influence, or notoriety. I had more of that at the time than I do now. It was because I could not connect with other people on a human level. I see that in the leader of the Trump administration and the people he gathers around him, also known as the Trump administration. It appears to me that he gathers these types of people around him because they share the same shortcomings. I know what that is about, too. Many of the quote-unquote friends I had at the time I was more of a shithead are no longer in my life because we are no longer alike. I am proud to have shared this with you today, and I hope to continue to mine my vulnerability for inspiration as I continue to ignore, the Trump administration. Day 188 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. I'm just trying to help myself. While literal babies starve to death in Gaza, MAGA Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's oldest son, who is 20 years old and has made her a grandmother at the age of 36, has been arrested again. I do not speak out very often, if at all, about world events. But as a Jewish person, something has perplexed me since October 7, 2023. I have not understood the ideas put forth that if you support the innocent people of Palestine, you are anti-Semitic. Or if you support the innocent people of Israel, you are pro-genocide. I am neither of those things. I hate Benjamin Netanyahu because he is just like the leader of the Trump administration, another power-hungry piece of shit. And I hate Hamas, who is just like the leader of the Trump administration and Benjamin Netanyahu, another bunch of power-hungry pieces of shit. I support the people, the innocents, those in Gaza, in Israel, in the United States of America, who are trying to live their lives and do good for their families and just get through the motherfucking day. That is who I support. You know who isn't one of those people? Lauren Boebert and her stupid kid. Entitled rich scumbags. This is what I'm talking about on day 188 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump administration. I'm talking about people around the world, also people in Ukraine who are suffering, who have been suffering because of Putin. Anywhere people are suffering under the rule or because of the rule of rich, entitled, cowardly scumbags, those are the people I'm talking about today. I advocate for the people to have the power, just like Patti Smith sang in her 1988 song of the same name. People have the power. And why do these people suffer? Because of people like the leader of the Trump administration. I am tired of these adult men who, for some reason, didn't get enough love when they were babies, and when they grew up, didn't get themselves to a motherfucking therapist, and so now are taking that out on the populations of countries. You cannot rise to power unless you have some kind of ambition to affect the lives of others. And those politicians who do have that kind of ambition, who want to affect the lives of others in a positive way, are few and far between, but they exist. But Hamas is not. Netanyahu is not. Putin is not. The leader of the Trump administration is not. And MAGA Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, her name sounds like a goddamn idiot. She is not. Supporting positive leaders is what I implore. Please ignore the Trump administration. Day 189 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. Well, we're waiting. I'm just trying to help myself. 13 is an unlucky number. Do we agree? But we are lucky today because today, day 189 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration, we are 13%. 13% through the final term of the leader of the Trump administration. And while we celebrate that, where is he right now? He is in Scotland, continuing to not do shit for anybody but himself. And what he is doing for himself, because I am keeping it light today, is he is cheating at golf. He was caught on camera with his caddy throwing a golf ball out for him to play, pretending that was where the leader of the Trump administration hit it. But should we be surprised? Should we be surprised that this dumb, tiny dick dude is busy cheating at golf? He cheats at golf more than Judge Smales in Caddyshack, who, even as a fictional character, I trust more than the leader of the Trump administration, because Judge Smales was portrayed by the comedic genius Ted Knight. Of course, we're not surprised that the leader of the Trump administration cheats at golf, because he is a cheater at life. He is a cheater on his wife. He is a cheater on his wife. He is a cheater on his wife. I said it 3 times because that is the amount of wives he cheated on. Boom. I want to remind us all, as I do when we hit these milestones, that the reason for the existence of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration is to remind us to consume less information. The information stream is nonstop, and it is meant to destabilize our mindfulness, our optimism, and our hope about the future as a wannabe dictator who is not a wannabe dickhead tries to control the population of the nation. When we are consuming less information, that gives us more time to spend with the ones we love, more time to offer ourselves to those around us who need our help, and more time to better ourselves and our lives. Do not do like teeny tiny D and cheat on all 3 wives. Do like a normal-sized person and stick to one relation, and together you can ignore the Trump administration. Day 190 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. I'm just trying to help myself. I am concerned that I will reveal too much on day 190 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. We have been talking about vulnerability. Let's say you're talking to someone new. You need to be vulnerable so that this new person will begin to trust you, and you can reveal that you are interested in them, which is projecting strength. But then again, you don't want to be too open because you'll look like a weirdo. You can say that exact thing. I'm interested in you. I enjoy chatting with you. I think it would be nice to get to know you, but I am concerned that telling you this reveals too much. I am concerned you might feel overwhelmed. I don't want that, and I just thought I would tell you. If you are honest like that and this person rejects you for expressing vulnerability while projecting strength, well, then you have just saved a lot of time. Anyone who is cool will find this vulnerability honest, appealing, and adorable. I will tell you that observing the leader of the Trump administration, he is a disaster at this. As we have seen in terms of romantic relationships, he is not able to maintain them. As we have seen, he is not able to maintain friendships. His one friend Jeffrey is no longer living and put him on a very disgusting list. Worst of all, for all of us, he is only able to establish and maintain relationships with other world leaders who are also mentally ill, like him. He talks about receiving love letters from murderous dictator Kim Jong-un. Other, not insane world leaders express vulnerability while projecting strength, while the leader of the Trump administration says he projects strength, but other, not insane world leaders seem to think he projects weird vibes. That reminds me of the comedy film Weird Science, which is fun to watch on a third date. This creates a precarious state in the world, and as far as the women he has encountered, many have hurled. But seriously, many have hurled. But seriously, the next time you are talking to someone who you are curious about and interested in, instead of holding back and feeling frustration, express vulnerability while projecting strength, and you might find something you have in common is ignoring the Trump administration. Day 191 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration. I am not a self-help guru. My name is Josh Bloom. I'm just trying to help myself. The leader of the Trump administration and the Trump administration are still working on taking us to the bottom. It is only day 191 after all, so please continue to ignore. But this reality did remind me of a song lyric today. Have you ever heard of a band called Quasi? Have you ever heard of a band called Sleater-Kinney? Well, that band Sleater-Kinney used to have a drummer, and that drummer's name is Janet Weiss. Now, there is a character in the Rocky Horror Picture Show named Janet Weiss. This is not that Janet Weiss. Also, Sleater-Kinney has a guitarist named Carrie Brownstein, who you may know from the television show Portlandia. It's a small world. Janet Weiss is one of the most amazing rock drummers that has ever existed. This drummer, Janet Weiss, in addition to the time that she spent in a band called Sleater-Kinney, is also in a duo called Quasi. Now that I've explained that to you, I will let you know that this band called Quasi has a song called The Poisoned Well, and this song, The Poisoned Well, has a lyric that is a very memorable lyric for these times and otherwise. I have always loved this lyric, and the lyric is, "We went through hell just to get to hell." And that is what living in America with the leader of the Trump administration and the Trump administration can sometimes feel like if we choose to let ourselves feel this way. It can feel like we are living through hell just to get to hell because this dude and the dudes and dudettes around him drum up all sorts of nonsense every single day to distract us from our mindfulness, optimism, and hope. And it is not going to be tolerated, just like you should not tolerate that drum up pun I just made as we are discussing a drummer named Janet Weiss. One way to ignore the Trump administration is to expand our consciousness when it comes to great art, and great art includes music, and music includes the band Quasi, and also includes the band Sleater-Kinney, mostly when they still had a drummer named Janet Weiss. I am telling you about these bands with the hope that you have never heard them before, because then you get to hear them for the first time. Because if you are someone who has already heard them, then you already know what the hell I am talking about. In fact, this song, The Poisoned Well, is widely believed to be about another musician, and that musician is Elliott Smith, one of the finest songwriters to have ever lived and a friend of the members of Quasi. Elliott passed away too young by his own hand, a tragic loss for our generation. If there is any kind of salvation from this situation, it is that he did not have to go through hell to get to the hell of the Trump administration. Day 192 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru. I'm just trying to help myself. I received this very unique comment today on day 192 of 1,461 days of ignoring the Trump administration, and that unique comment is, but you're not ignoring. Now, when I say unique comment, I am being sarcastic because this is the comment I receive most frequently across all platforms. In my role as the host of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump Administration, I like to think I am providing an opportunity for any and all of the leader of the Trump administration's cult members to be able to leave a comment that satisfies their needs. To do that, I must provide an opportunity for a comment that is easy to grasp, as in easy for the follower of the leader of the Trump administration to understand. Easy to grasp, meaning it doesn't require the shallow victims of a lifelong con man to think very hard. And easy to grasp, as in embrace, meaning it allows deeply damaged people to be triggered and then externalize that anger by lashing out at someone like myself, a very sweet and caring man who only wants to appreciate and help other people. You know what else is easy? The song Easy by the Commodores, a group led by singer Lionel Richie. The commenter may prefer the Lionel Richie song Dancing on the Ceiling, however, because it represents the safe space where followers of the leader of the Trump administration can be blissfully unaware of basic science, such as gravity, for example. Lashing out is behavior by the followers of the leader of the Trump administration that is condoned and encouraged from the top down. The leader of the Trump administration and the Trump administration exist for one reason: to enact cruelty on the people that surround them. The leader of the Trump administration and the Trump administration have been able to achieve this because of the support of commenters like you who willingly bend over to do their bidding as victimized, manipulated cult members should. I am proud of you for fulfilling your role and am happy to be offering the chance to followers, victims, and plain old dum-dums to make the comment that most of them make, but you're not ignoring. If I can play this small role in allowing people like this to unleash just a tiny bit of their anger on me, maybe they will not do it to someone who is more vulnerable than I am. I am thrilled to have given you this opportunity to diffuse a bit of your frustration. And now I will go back to doing exactly what you commented on me not doing, ignoring the Trump administration. Day 193 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump administration. I am not a self-help guru, but I am sometimes a lazy bones. I'm just trying to help myself. I phoned it in yesterday on day 192 of 1,461 Days of Ignoring the Trump administration, and that was not right. Phoning it in reminds me of Beyonce and Lady Gaga in their iconic video for the song Telephone, which is exactly right, and which is also where the comparison ends, because unlike me, they would never phone it in, and in fact, those two legendary divas would likely be disappointed in me for coming up short in my delivery to you yesterday. The theme recently around here has been vulnerability, so I must admit to you exactly what I did. I have been burning the candle at both ends. I am in the final stages of writing a book. I am also keeping up with this series in order to give you and myself an encouraging message of mindfulness, optimism, and hope, and all the while, I am just trying to live my life and explore what there is for me when I practice what I preach here and take the time gained by turning away from the news of the day to enrich my life, enrich the lives of those around me, and become a better person. By phoning it in, which is what I did yesterday, I took the easy way out. I responded to a comment and attacked a follower of the leader of the Trump administration by referring to them as a cult member, referring to them as a victim of a con man, and referring to them as a person unloading their internalized anger by lashing out at me. Who am I to judge anyone else's lived circumstance or life? If I am going to comment on it, it should be in the context of empathy and kindness. And so again, in keeping with the theme of vulnerability, I admit that to you because I want to earn your trust. So when I do comment on the leader of the Trump administration, and the followers of the leader of the Trump administration, you can know that I am doing it from a place of actual inspiration. That is what you should expect of me when I tell you that I am ignoring the Trump administration.